exciting. So I'm Leah, I work for agriculture in the classroom, and welcome to Agribition. So this is the 50th year of Agribition, and while we would have loved to be with you guys in person, we're really excited to be chatting with you guys today. And as I mentioned, this is Les. He works with the Canadian Bison Association, and I'm going to let him introduce himself.
So, my name is Les. I am the current president of the Canadian Bison Association. I'm from Hanley, just 2 hours northwest of Regina here. So why we're here is this is our 38th National Bison Show and Sale at Canadian Western Agribition. So producers from all across Western Canada bring their animals here. They can show everybody what types of animals they have, what genetics they have, and then all of these bison were involved in a sale. So all of the bison that came here were judged, and then the sale was held last night from actually through video auction. So yeah, it's exciting to be here. Hope I can answer some of your questions, and we'll have a good day.
Correct. So we have some questions that came in from Mr. Stevenson's class at Walker. And his class had some really wonderful questions. So I'm going to try to ask a few of them, but Les, yeah, no, that's no problem. Okay, Les, so Mr. Stevenson's class is wondering, how many bison do you have on your farm?
Okay, so on my farm right now altogether, we've got about between 250 and 300 bison on our farm. We've got about 100 cows calving, and then so we've got quite a few calves left from last year and the year before. So all together, including the bulls, the cows, the calves, we've got about 250.
Okay, great. And where did your herd come from?
Okay, so the first animals that I bought from a farmer in Manitoba. So that's where I got my first animals, and then we've also bought animals from South Dakota in the U.S. We bought some from there.
Great. What do you call a male and a female bison?
So the males and the females are called cows and bulls, so it's just like cattle. Cows and bulls, and the babies are called calves.
Okay, and last question, are your bison plains or wood bison?
So the bison that I have on my farm are plains bison. So they're the bison that would have been in this area, you know, hundreds of years ago. So that's the type of bison that we have is the plains.
Okay. Okay, and how big can bison get? How much do they weigh?
Okay, so it depends on whether they're male or female. So when a bison is born, they're about 50 pounds. They're very small, and they'll grow, and by the time they are about 2 to 3 years old, they're just about to their full maturity, but they'll keep growing till they're 7 years old. So a full-grown bison bull will stand about 6 feet tall at the shoulder, and they'll weigh about 2,000 pounds or more.
Wow.
And the cows are a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter, and most cows weigh, you know, between 1,000 and 1,400 pounds.
Hey, great. And from Mrs. Matlock's class at Lumsden Elementary, how many bison do you have? And I think we answered that,
okay,
actually.
Okay, got that one.
Okay, sorry. Let's see. What is the difference between bison and buffalo?
Okay, so bison is the scientific name, the real true name. There's the two types of bison. Plains bison is scientific name is bison, and woods bison are bison athabasca. The name buffalo was a slang term that the European settlers first gave this animal when they came to North America. It reminded them of other species in Europe and South America. So buffalo is actually the name used for like water buffalo and the species in different parts of the world. So we have bison.
Okay, and that question was from Wilfred Walker's school, grade 1. From Ms. Coffin's grade 5 class at Plainsview, how heavy is an average bison?
Okay, so the average bison, so the bulls at 1 year old, they're probably 800 to 1,000 pounds, and the female ones will be 600 to 800 pounds. So the females are a little bit smaller, The males are usually quite a bit bigger.
Okay. Question from Mrs. Matlock's class at Ecola Lumsden. Do you name your bison?
We don't usually name our bison. If we've got a real special one or a real friendly one, we'll sometimes give them names, but we try not to. We just, we treat them all the same, and we just call them our bison.
Awesome. And we have a noisy barn here today, so our
Yeah.
apologies if you're getting lots of feedback on that. Okay, from Wide Reading, how much food do bison eat each day?
Okay, so bison eat, an average full-grown cow, they eat 4% of their body weight a day. So if a bison weighs 1,000 pounds, it will eat 40 pounds of grass or hay every day. Okay, the bigger they are, the more they eat, but
Okay. From St. Joseph's 3-4 class, are bison smart?
bison are incredibly smart. Some people think that bison don't have very good eyesight, but they do. And they can recognize which truck drives up to the field. So if I drive up to the field and they think I might have treats for them, they'll recognize it and they'll come running towards it. We can train bison to go into different pastures or to cross roads to go to a new field. They're very smart, very intelligent, and yeah, I think I answered
great,
that
yeah.
one.
And how fast do bison run?
Okay, so bison can run up to 40 to 45 kilometers an hour quite easily. I've seen them go as fast as 60 kilometers an hour. They're very fast.
Great. From Miss Greer's class in grade 3 at Connaught School, how long does it take for a bison to mature?
Okay, so they grow the fastest in the first year, and then they grow a little bit more in the second year. They'll keep growing until they're 7 years old. So only the bulls and the cows will keep growing a little bit, but they grow, the most growth that they have is in the first year.
Okay, and from Y Reading, do bison fight with each other?
They do. So when bison are out there in the field, they're a family unit, and there's we call it a pecking order, where there's a dominant or a boss cow. The bulls usually aren't the leaders of the herd. It's usually one cow that is. And if you introduce a new one or somebody decides that they want to be a boss, they have to fight about it and figure out who is going to be the next boss.
Hey, from Jackie Tapetat, how many species of buffalo is there?
So in Canada, there's two species of bison. There's wood bison and plains bison. So the woods bison would have been from the northern part of Canada, mostly Saskatchewan and Alberta, and then up into Alaska. So that would have started, you know, on a line anything north of Prince Albert to Edmonton, and then north of that would have been the woods bison range, and then the plains bison would have been from there and all the way down as far as Mexico.
Okay. From Mrs. Matlock's class, grade 4 Lumsden, do you have a favorite animal?
I've got a few favorite ones. You know, some of them that we've had the odd time we've had them that if they become orphaned or whatever, we'll raise them, we'll feed them out of a bottle until they're big enough to be on their own. So they become not really pets, but they do become favorite. Or I've got some of my big bulls that, you know, they become very friendly. When I drive out in the truck to check them, they'll come right up to me, and we never get close enough to them to touch them. We don't want to do that, but they're very friendly, they're very curious, so yeah, I've got a couple of favorites.
Great. Grade 3, Ms. Rogers' class from Horlack, how cold of a climate can bison live in?
So we get pretty cold around here, so it'll go down to minus 40 or more, and bison are very well suited for those conditions. So bison have a very, very thick hair coat. They've got about 10 times as many hair follicles as beef cattle do. So if you get a really cold, stormy day, most of their hair and fur is on the front shoulders and their face. Their face is incredibly thick with very, very dense hair. So they'll lay facing into the wind, and they'll just lay there. They'll lay very still and very calm. And so they can easily take minus 40 temperatures.
Okay, grade 6, 7 from St. Michael. Uh, they want to know when you bought your first bison.
So I got the first bison on my farm in 1989. So 32 years ago, we got our first bison on our farm.
Okay. Grade 4 Massey, how much space pasture do bison need?
That's a difficult question to answer. So if they're just on their own, they need a lot of space. The more space that you can give them so that they can just be free to roam around, free to find their own food, the better. So we don't like keeping them in small pens like this. They need to be in wide open, big areas. I don't know if I could answer that one very good.
No, that's okay. So grade 6 from you, close centennial, have your bison ever escaped?
Unfortunately, yes. I've had a couple of times where the bison did get out. Either a gate got left open or something happened that they did get out. But normally, bison want to come back. As long as they know that that's a safe, good place to be, they will always want to come back there. When they do get out, we have to be very quiet, very careful, trying to herd them back. We don't want to just start chasing them. Normally, they'll want to come back. The cows that we have, wherever a cow had her last calf, is what she classes as home. So she will always want to come back home. So as long as we gave her lots of food and water, and she was safe, feeling safe being there, they always want to come back home.
Okay, from Y Redding, how do you take care of so many animals?
Okay, so we have quite a bit of land area. Normally, this was a hard year. We had a drought in our area this year, so the grass didn't grow very good. So then we had to spend extra time going out, making bales and making bales so that we can feed them now that it's winter time. So in the summer when the grass is growing good, they're very easy to take care of. They just go out and eat the grass that we've got fenced off. Now in the winter time, we go out with bales 2 or 3 times a week, and we put extra feed out for them. We make sure that there's always feed there for them to eat.
Okay, grade 4 Massey School, how long will bison live?
Okay, so the average age of a bison, like a bison cow, is 20 years. So normally they'll live about 20 years or a little more, but we've seen them live as long as 40 to 45 years. So the bulls usually don't live as long, 10 to 12 years for the mature bulls, but the cows will live 20 to 25 years.
Okay, grade 6-7 Grant Road, how many bison would you suggest would be a good starter size for a herd?
Okay, so you need to have at least 3 or 4 bison. Bison are a very social animal, a very family-oriented animal. So if we took 1 bison and put it by itself, or even 2, they get very nervous, they get agitated, and they get scared, and they hurt themselves or they get sick or whatever. So you need at least 3 or 4 at a minimum so that they can have a group. They like being in groups. So. Yeah.
Okay. We have 10 minutes left and lots of questions, so it's rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Okay, from Mark Clausen's class, Fiat Tom, what do you use other parts of the bison for aside from the meat?
Okay, so the meat is the main one, and then the skulls are very popular, the horns for artists and artwork, the hides, we can tan it and use it for leather. The bones, again, nowadays it's mostly just for artwork and stuff. But the First Nations people, like I say, they used them for lots of different things.
Great. Grade 6-7 McNeil, what is a baby bison called?
Baby bison is called a calf. When the calves are born, they're a bright orange color. They're the color of a pumpkin.
Okay, Connaught grade 4-5s, how much does a bison cost to buy?
Oh, it varies. So right now at the auction sale that we had for these animals, the prices ranged from $2,500 to $14,000.
Wow. Okay, grade 4-5 from Buck. What would happen if the bison had gone extinct?
Hadn't gotten sick?
No, had gone extinct.
Oh, if the bison had gone extinct, we wouldn't be here today. So thank goodness we protected them and saved them.
Okay, from Peyton Fraser, grade 5-6 Albert, how many bison were around Saskatchewan before Europeans came?
Okay, so that's a really hard one, but so altogether in North America, they think there was 30 to 50 million. I would think in Saskatchewan, there might have been 2 or 3 million.
Okay, good. Walker School grade 1-2s, are there any wild bison left?
Yes, there are. In Saskatchewan, we have one of the only true free-ranging herds of bison. It's in the Prince Albert National Park, so it's free-ranging. And then the Grasslands National Park, it's a very wide, big area. They've got a fence around it, but it's a great, great distance. So we do have wild herds in Saskatchewan and in Canada.
Okay, grade 6 Equocentennial, do you use hides to make clothing?
Yes, we do, we can. It's very hard. It's a lot of work to make the bison hide into leather, but yes, we do.
Okay, Mrs. Harder's class from Emerald Ridge in White City, can bison have twins?
Bison can have twins. It's not real common, but they do. We've had probably 6 or 7 sets of twins on our farm, yeah.
Okay, grade 4-5 Rosemont, how old is the oldest bison you have?
The oldest bison I have right now is about 21 years old.
Okay, grade 4 from Nicole Lumsden, do they eat grain or just grass?
They will eat grain. They love grain. We use grain to feed them as treats, but mostly they eat grass.
Okay, grade 5-6 St. Angela, how high can bison jump?
Bison can jump. So I have seen a 2,000-pound fully mature bull jump over a 5-foot high fence. So 5 feet high is about here. So we always say bison can run faster than a horse and jump higher than a deer.
Wow. Okay, we have lots of questions and not a lot of time, so we're going to try our best here, everybody. Grade 6-7 St. Peter, are bison dangerous by nature?
I don't know if we say dangerous. They're very protective. If they aren't disturbed and not chased or anything, they don't want to hurt us. They are wild. They can be dangerous, but as long as we respect them, they're not.
Okay. Grade 4 from Nicole Lumsden, do they lose their horns?
Nope. Bison do not lose their horns. If they have an accident and break one off, it never grows back.
Okay, grade 4 St. Elizabeth, how many bison do you usually sell in a year?
Okay, I usually sell about 60 to 80 bison a year off of my farm.
Okay, grade 6-7 McNeil, how many babies do bison typically have?
Okay, so normally they have one a year. Bison don't have their first baby until they're 3 years old, and then if we keep them till they're 20, they'd be 17 or 18 babies they would have in their lifetime. But normally they have one a year.
Okay. Grade 3-4 Thompson, why does the buffalo have a hump on its back?
That's a good question that I don't have a really quick answer for. It's just part of how the animal was designed. The hump helps give the balance to the bison. Bison are very agile. They can turn really fast while they're running full speed. That hump gives them extra mass that they can use it kind of like a teeter-totter, and they can spin themselves around real quick.
Great. Grade 3-4 from Argyle, where do you get your bison from?
Okay, so all of the bison that I have now, I bought close to 30 years ago. Since that time, I just keep all of my own females for, if I want to get more cows, I just keep my own. If I'm looking for new bulls or whatever, I might come to a sale like this, or I might just shop around and go and talk to other producers and buy them there.
Okay, question from grade 1-2, Judge Bryant, how far can they see?
How far can they see? Some people think that bison don't have very good eyesight, but I think they do, and they can see for miles.
Okay, from Tia Coffin, how many hours a day do bison sleep?
I would think that they would they sleep at different times during the day, but normally they would sleep for 4 hours at a time, twice a day.
Okay, grade 2, Emerald Ridge, Are the two kinds of bison the same size, or is one bigger?
The woods bison is bigger. They've got a bigger frame. Yeah, the woods bison are taller and a little bit longer.
Okay, grade 4, Massey. How do bison cool down when it's hot?
Bison cool down a lot. Their horns, so all bison have horns, males and females. The male's horns are a bit bigger, but blood flows through the horns at all times. So that's part of the way they cool. Another way that they cool is by drinking water. So a full-grown bison will drink at least 10 gallons of water a day.
Okay, and from McNeil School, sorry, I just lost the question. Are bison babies born in a certain season?
Normally, bison babies are born in April and May, even into June. But normally, most of them are born in May.
Okay, grade 4, Massey. How many stomachs does a bison have?
4. Same as a beef cow.
Okay,
They're called a ruminant animal. So
great. Grade 4, Nicole Lumsden. How many male bison do you have?
Okay, so for breeding bulls, we've got, like I said, about close to 100 cows. We've got 5 breeding bulls.
Okay, grade 4, 5 from Buck. How often do you find wild bison?
Not very often. You have to go to specific places to find them. But they don't just roam all over the province.
Okay.
Hope that answered that.
Grade 4, 5, Buck. What colors do bison come in?
Most bison are a brown color, like the ones you see behind me. Some bison can look really, really black. So brown and black.
Okay. Sorry, just trying to scroll through. Grade 4, 5, Buck. Are baby bison born with hair or fur?
It is hair, but it's really thick. So if they're born later in the fall, like I said, sometimes we'll get a baby born in October. Their hair is really thicker and it's just about like fur.
Okay, and Tom Fiat School, where do bison sleep?
Bison in the wintertime, they'll just go and find a nice clean patch of snow and sleep in the snow. We don't have barns. We don't put them in barns or anything. They don't want to go there.
Okay, and this will be our last question because we are out of time. Grade 5, 6 from Albert School. Do you sell the horns to people to make jewelry?
To make what?
To make jewelry.
Yes, I do. If people want, we do have some horns that we do sell, yeah.
Okay, and that's basically all the time we have, everybody. So let's give a big round of applause to Les and thank him for telling us all about bison today. Thank you to the schools, and thanks for attending our AgriEd virtual program this year. We're very excited to be doing this and hope that you guys can tune in for the rest of the week. Same time, tomorrow we're talking about cattle, Thursday is sheep, and Friday is alpaca. So thank you, everyone. These were wonderful questions. We hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have fun.